What's up, fam? Extraordinary Life with Elijah. And today's insight comes out of my time with my little girls doing their Jesus Storybook Bible. This morning, we did Naaman, the leper from Syria, who went to see the prophet Elisha. And while we were doing the story, just this insight hit me in regards to the church and us entering into the health and the life that Jesus has for us. It was so interesting to consider that Naaman is much like us in the church, that we have a sickness of the heart, that leprosy causes body parts to fall off without you knowing it, that they become dead. You lose your sense of feeling in those body parts, and you can lose a nose or a finger or a toe and not even know it when you have leprosy. And I think it's so interesting that in today's culture that parts of the body, members of a specific fellowship, can merge out of that body and the body not even know that they're gone. So we have an issue of spiritual leprosy within the body in today's age, and it needs healing. But it just keeps going and going. It's been pretty rampant for a long time that the bodies are very disconnected, that there's people that just come in and out of a specific religious group that are just consuming, and they can leave that body without the body feeling any sense of pain. And it's been going on for some time, but there's lots of people who come to the table and say that they want to see that healed, but I don't know if we're really ready to engage the humility of what Jesus is asking us to do to be healed. When Naaman goes to originally get his healing, he goes to the king. He wants to keep it in this context of what he considers strong and honorable and noble, but the king doesn't have his healing for him. When Naaman finally does go to Elisha doesn't go out to see him. He sends out his servant instead, which again hacks off Naaman because he wants to be honored and coddled for the position that he holds within the world. He's a powerful ruler, so you better treat me like one. Instead, though, Elisha sends his servant out to give him the news that he's to dip 7 times in the Jordan River. Enrages Naaman, and he says he's not going to do it. However, the servants that are of Naaman's household tell him, if the prophet had told you to do something amazing or crazy or some great feat of strength, wouldn't you have done it? But Naaman can't get over the fact that it's not something great. He hasn't been sent to the king. It's not in a royal context. He's with a prophet at a humble house who won't even come out, sends out his servant, and he's asked to dip in a disgusting, dirty river. His response is, are there not rivers that are more clean in my house, that are more beautiful, more pure that I could dip in? I'm not submerging myself in the Jordan River. Finally, he humbles himself and dips 7 times in the Jordan River. And as the story says, that on his 7th time coming up, his skin was restored to that of a small child that is just baby smooth, and he was completely healed. The insight that came out of this while I was reading to the girls this morning was there's a leprosy involved in the church where body members can just fall away, and we don't feel the pain, that there's a leprosy in the body. We want healing, but we're not willing to humble ourselves to follow what Jesus has called us to be healed. How I think that applies is that the church has withheld themselves from the world. They've stayed outside of that stream of culture. Instead, we've celebrated the fact that we have rivers of pure, living, clean water inside of our church buildings, that we're not going to go out into the world. We're not going to dip ourselves. We're not going to submerge ourselves perfectly within the world's stream of culture. 7 is the number of perfection. And so we say, no, we're not going to go and submerge ourselves perfectly, totally, fully within those dirty streams of the world. No, there's no healing out there for us. Ask me to be an apologist. Ask me to be a loud professor. I will go out and die as a martyr amongst the world, keeping myself pure and clean, and risk all kinds of things for God's name and sacrifice my life, but I will not submerge myself within the stream of the dirty waters of the world to find healing. But Jesus' prayer for us in the garden in John 17 was that the Father not take us out of the world, but that he would protect us from the attacks of the evil one. My thought this morning was that if we'll listen to what Jesus has said by sending out his servant, the Holy Spirit, to lead us into all truth, that we go to him saying, man, we got this huge issue in our body that we're completely disconnected. There's a leprosy that our bodies can just fall apart and leave, and we don't even feel the pain of them leaving. There's a leprosy involved. How do we get healed? If we would listen to the Holy Spirit who leads us into all truth and tells us what is yet to come, that would receive his word from Jesus as his servant and say, yes, we will orient our body to the streams of the world, and we will submerge ourselves. We will completely immerse ourselves perfectly within the world. We would find the healing that we're longing for. It's in that context that we are invited into being made whole in Jesus. Without the covering and the empowerment of the Spirit, obviously, we'll be in the world and become of the world and become sicker still. However, if we find the provision of God in and amongst the streams of the world, completely submerged within their streams, it's there that our body finds its healing and connection to be strong and find the provision and protection of God to exist within that stream, whole and healed. I hope this is an encouragement to you guys. Obviously challenging, just like it was with Naaman, to be invited out into gross streams, doing things that are humbling and not noble, seemingly. I get it. It's tough. I'm with you there too. But I hope that it's an encouragement to you and that you have ears to hear to engage the foolishness of what Jesus is asking us to do so that we can be healed and become whole as a body. If you subscribe to what I'm doing, hit the button, hit it, and then get it. Hit the bell as well so you get notified with the new content. And if you loved this video, didn't just like it, hit the thumbs down button. Pray blessings on our lives together. I love you guys lots, and I'll see you in the next video. Which I always think is hilarious because when I say that here, the next video that I'm going to see you in is the one that I'm going to record while the camera is still rolling. Ugh. Day is like 3.5 years, and 3.5 years is like a day. Good insight. Good insight. I'm engaging that word from God in a new way as a result of reaching out to you guys. So good. Okay, here we go. What's up, fam? Extraordinary Life with Elijah, and today my little girl Azriela is my extra, and I am the ordinary.